Good evening, Tigers. This is the Extra Point, which starts right now. Everyone, welcome to the Extra Point. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We've got an amazing show for you. I'm Wyatt Street hosting, and tonight we've got on the panel with us Matthew, Thomas, Josh, and Tom doing his first show. And yes, we have a Tom and a Thomas because that's not going to get confusing at all. So, first topic up for tonight, we're starting with the NFL. There's been a huge slew of injuries coming out these past first 2 weeks of the season. A lot of really big-name guys going down. People like Adrian Peterson, Jimmy Garoppolo, Danny Woodhead, Jay Cutler, to name a few. And these are big injuries that are impacting a lot of teams very heavily. So, which injury do you guys think is going to be the biggest? Which injury has the biggest impact, in your opinion? We'll start with Matthew on this one.
I don't want to go along with everybody else. Obviously, Adrian Peterson injury, it's a big hit. Even though Bradford looked good, still they got McKinnon and Asiata, so I don't know if they're going to be able to go much further with that. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers actually. Keenan Allen is lost again, second straight season cut short, towards ACL, 1,000-yard receiver when healthy. Danny Woodhead towards ACL, I think on Sunday, and he had 1,000 yards from scrimmage. So both of those pieces were very, very crucial for the Chargers offense. And now they have Melvin Gordon, he's been doing pretty well in the NFL recently, but he's not. I don't think he's consistent enough to keep it up as a starting running back. They got Antonio Gates, who's still a Hall of Famer, still good, but he's old. They got Tyrell Williams, who I only know because I picked him up in fantasy because he's the next receiver up.
He's the latest waiver wire pickup.
Exactly. They got a shaky O-line, so I think the Chargers are in a lot of trouble. They still have Phillip Rivers, but they don't have a lot of weapons, and they just keep falling down. So.
I'm going to have to point to Corey Coleman and the Browns organization. The Browns aren't very good to start out with, but they need Corey Coleman to be healthy because he's going to be a great piece for the organization in the future. They're going to have a lot of things going for them, but with him being hurt, I don't see them making a run at all. If they were going to make one.
No, they weren't going to make one. Well, they do get Gordon back week 5 though.
That's good.
Yeah, and the Browns' main issue right now is the quarterbacks, as always. They always have that issue with the quarterbacks. I'm actually going to go with the Bears because people like to trash on Jay Cutler, but
yeah, that's accurate.
They don't realize that he is better than more than half of the starting quarterbacks in the league. So losing Jay Cutler is actually a big loss for the Bears. I mean, not that big because the Bears aren't very good this year.
Yeah.
But now they have to start Brian Hoyer, the Destroyer, which he doesn't live up to that second part of his name. So, yeah.
So, he did pretty well with the Texans.
Talking about the quarterbacks in the NFL, Jimmy Garoppolo just went down for the Patriots after, the second string quarterback is already down. Now they're moving on to the third string. I don't even know who his name is.
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, okay,
From
Brissett.
State.
So that's a huge implication for them. I know it's only going to be 2 games without Brady, but still, that's huge having to rely on a third string quarterback to carry your team, especially a team that's supposed to be one of the biggest teams in the National Football League, especially filling in for shoes like Tom Brady. How important do you guys think this is?
Well, I was actually going to pick them when we were talking about team most affected. I would have picked the Patriots with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Really?
Because I read that Gronkowski might not play this weekend either, and even with you said Brissett, that's who they got.
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, Brissett.
Even a third string quarterback can step in and throw to Gronk. Like I could probably stand in there and throw to Gronk. I mean, I'm not an NFL quarterback by any means, but I can probably step in and throw to Gronk. All you have to do is get the ball to him. But if he's not there, who do they have to fall back on? I heard if Brissett goes down, Edelman might be the quarterback.
He is the
plays-
emergency quarterback.
He's the emergency
I think
quarterback.
it would be the best
I want to
thing
see. I definitely want to see it.
I don't want Brissett to get hurt or anything, but I really
No, yeah,
want
don't
to
wish.
see Edelman at
Yeah,
quarterback.
don't
I
not
feel
ill
like that
vein
would
on
be-
anyone, but
But,
Edelman would be interesting.
But my main thing about that is Brissett coming out of NC State. He played pretty good for NC State. He was very hard to sack, you know. And,
Big guy.
And also, I just can't go against Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I was just about to say
You
it.
cannot go against Bill Belichick. He has a nice system in place where you can plug in anybody at quarterback and they'll probably succeed. Tom Brady puts them way over the edge,
Right.
but I think Jimmy Garoppolo proved that you can pretty much put in.
Yeah.
I mean, Garoppolo played great, but you can pretty much put any quarterback in a Bill Belichick offense and you'll
They're gonna
do
succeed.
well.
I mean, this week he's probably going to run LeGarrette Blount probably 30 times, like he did with the one guy against the Colts. I don't remember who it was, who they cut. He had like,
I thought that was Blunt.
no, that wasn't Blount. That was somebody else. But they just no.
Oh,
they-
was it
I
Marine?
remember someone.
Someone, yeah, they cut him, but I mean, like I said, it's the system. You can basically put anybody in there. Garoppolo is below average quarterback, but he looked like he was top 10 quarterback.
The
So
fact,
I don't have any worries about the Patriots. I think
and,
they'll be
yeah, and the fact that they're 2-0 after not having Tom Brady, not
Or
having
Gronk,
Gronk,
yeah.
you just can't go up against Bill Belichick.
Their
right
division isn't hard. They're gonna succeed.
now. Yeah,
12-4.
12-4.
All right, guys, now let's pull out the whiteboards. We've got a fun game to play, the hashtag game. First time we're doing that. Bringing that back. So pull out your whiteboards. We're going to head and start. And Matthew, not with the whiteboard, but the piece of paper. So the first thing we're going to do is D'Angelo Williams. We're going to talk about him. One of the oldest, I think, if not the oldest running backs in the National Football League, but he's still leading the league in touches. And the numbers he's putting up are pretty darn good. So his situation, give us a hashtag on that. What do you guys think? Start with Tom on this one.
Well, my marker isn't working, but I'm going to go with hashtag get yours. I mean, this man is not, never has been like one of the best running backs in the league, but he's always been very consistent.
2008, 2009, he was pretty good.
He
Double
was
trouble.
he was great. Yeah, he was great at one point, but he's still getting it. He's still getting it done. He's getting his money. That's what he's doing at this point, and fair play to the man. Get yours, man. Get yours.
All right, well, I got hashtag fine wine. He ages like fine wine. When he played for the Panthers, he was pretty good, but you know he was a little shaky for some seasons due to the injuries. And when he left the Panthers, I thought it was a little unfair.
It was a little bit, yeah.
It was a little bit unfair, and then he went to the Steelers, and I was like, well, I mean, I guess you'll do well with the Steelers. And past 2 years, Le'Veon Bell was suspended last year as well.
Okay.
So I mean,
Yeah, weed.
he's proven that he is a great backup running back number 2.
And he could definitely start for a lot of
He
teams.
can definitely
considering
start.
These injuries.
He's gotten better. Just saying.
The reason he is so good is because hashtag the pink dreads. I like the pink dreads that he has because of the story with his mom and breast cancer. I think that's a great story. But when Le'Veon Bell went down, I really didn't think that the Steelers were going to have a legitimate running back to fall back on. But when he comes in, he's great. Like he's so physical and tough. Like third down, he's almost automatic. Definitely, it's the pink dreads.
I got, I don't know if you can see it on my piece of paper because we ran out of our whiteboards, but I got hashtag Fountain of Youth. Like you said with the fine wine thing, I mean he's rejuvenated. He's 32, 33. He's the oldest running back except for John Kuhn, who's a fullback. So he's basically the oldest.
Doesn't really count.
He's the oldest running back, and he's arguably the best running back in terms of stats for the first 2 weeks. So Fountain of Youth.
Those are all good hashtags, guys. I'm going to give the win on that one to Josh with the fine wine. I like the little rhyme there. Let's move on to the big story, the big matchup coming onto this week here. Josh Norman versus OBJ. We all know how that played out last year. An excellent matchup with a lot of yellow laundry on the field. So a lot of people are expecting more of the same this year, and now we get to see this matchup twice. So this is round 1 for the 2016 season. Give us a hashtag for that, the rematch. Start with Josh this time.
Since I finished first, all right. I'm going with hashtag letdown. I feel like this is not going to be it's not going to be up to the hype. It's not going to live up to hype. I feel like Josh Norman's not even going to cover OBJ that much. He's going to be like Antonio Brown.
They said he was.
They said he
He's going to
was.
shadow him everywhere except for in the slot.
Oh, really? They actually learned their lesson.
Green said he's going to earn his money this week.
Well, I still feel like they won't get into it like they did last year. I feel like OBJ and Josh Norman, the refs are definitely going to be looking closely at them the entire time. So they're probably going to be less likely to get into it with each other because they have all eyes on them. So they're going to let everyone down.
I guess I'll go next. I'm gonna go with let's stop talking and play ball. It's done with all the talking, the Twitter beef, and going back and forth. It's finally here since the rematch of the playoffs when it happened. It's time to play ball. It's enough. We're grown men. Let's go out and play some football.
Okay, I'll go next. I'm gonna go with hashtag IceUpSun, except it's not gonna be what's his name? I forgot it. It's not gonna be Aqib Talib. How did I forget that? It's not gonna be Aqib Talib icing up. It's gonna be Odell Beckham. Josh Norman's gonna get the best of him. So IceUpSun.
I went with hashtag Let's Get Ready to Rumble because I think that. I think there might be a few punches thrown. I think these guys, with all the Twitter beef that we see in the NFL and in sports at all, every sport has at least, 15 a year now? But, I think these guys are seriously dislike each other. And in the game of football, it's a contact sport. You're hitting each other a lot. We might see, even more yellow laundry on the floor of us not.
I like the let's get ready to rumble there. The only thing I don't like is that you didn't say it in the voice. That's a little disappointing there. But I'm going to give you the win on that one. I like the hashtag. So next one we got up is Carson Wentz. So a lot of people were a little shaky on whether he might do well or not this year, being a high draft pick as he was. But he's looked pretty well in the first 2 games of the season. A lot of people are still wondering if he can keep it up, but so far so good for him and the Eagles. So give us a hashtag on Wentz and his performance thus far. Start out with Thomas this time.
My hashtag is going to be hashtag 2 and 1 because Carson Wentz is going against the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend. And I don't think as a rookie he's ready to see a defense or a scheme like the Steelers run the 3-4. You have Stephon Tuitt on a defensive end, Lawrence Timmons, a linebacker. I really don't think he's going to be ready. I think he's going to lose this weekend. I got to give it to him 2 and 1.
All right, I'm gonna go next. I'm gonna hashtag don't get excited. Even though he's been doing pretty well, he's played the Bears and he's played the Browns. So I mean, let's not overreact. He's doing well, granted, but he's gonna be better than what people think, but he's not gonna be this franchise quarterback. I don't see it yet. At least not yet. He has to still show me more. And if he beats the Steelers this week, maybe I'll change my mind. But I don't see that happening.
I went with hashtag called it because, I'm a little biased now as an Eagles fan, but from the day I knew it was a risk giving up all the draft picks, but I thought from day one that he could come in and produce, and I don't think he's going to, dominate anybody. I don't think we're going to go out there and I don't even know that we'll beat the Steelers. I know well enough that we're probably not going to, but he will have a good, consistent season, I feel. I think. And I've said that from the get-go.
He's better than Bradford with the Eagles.
Who is
Much better.
Mine is hashtag running out, and that is reference to time is running out for Wentz. As you can see here, what has happened in the past is a rookie quarterback has done really well in the early games, and then everyone figures him out. And that's exactly what's going to happen with Wentz. They're going to figure him out very quickly. NFL defenses aren't dumb.
Very true.
They're going to figure him out. They're going to figure out his weaknesses, play to those weaknesses, and then he's going to struggle. Now, if he can get out of those struggles and play and get over those struggles, get over those humps, then he will be a franchise quarterback in Philadelphia. But he's going to have a rough rest of the year.
I think he could easily run into a rough patch as all rookie quarterbacks do, but I think that there's enough support from the Eagles organization that they can boost him up and get him over those hurdles because honestly, we need to. The Eagles have no other option. They wasted all this, they made all these moves for him, and they saw what happened with the Redskins and RG3, and they don't want to let that happen.
Oh,
so
he's definitely there to stay. It's
just
how good is he going to be?
I think they're going to try
succeed.
their absolute best to push it.
I want to see him exceed too. I'm just
Yeah, I
saying
do.
he's going to have a rough rest of the year because they're going to start
Yeah, it
figuring
will.
him out.
It will.
And he needs to learn from that and develop from that to become one of the next great quarterbacks.
He'll get better as he ages. He'll
obviously.
get way better.
All right, let's move on. I'll give it to Matthew on that one, even with a piece of paper. Don't get excited there. Let's move on to the Browns now. The never-ending horror story of the NFL, the Cleveland Browns. Once again, starting the season off 0-2. It's just not looking good for them. They started off with RG3. A lot of people were questioning if that was a good decision. Now he's done for a majority of the season. Now we're moving on to Josh McCown. He's out for this coming weekend. So they're going to the third-string quarterback, just like the Patriots are having to do. But the difference is the Browns are much worse. So what are you guys hashtagging the Browns here? Start with Matthew.
All right, let me just finish making this dark enough so you can see it. All right. I got hashtag can't make this up. It's like a Hollywood movie. First RG3 gets hurt, then Coleman gets hurt. They've had, I think the stats, 20 or something starting quarterbacks since 1999. Probably the same amount of head coaches. I'm not exactly sure, but it's just goes on and on. They weren't going to really get anywhere this year, but I mean, Corey Coleman. I don't know how long he's going to be out. They haven't said, but now he's losing his chance to develop. Josh Gordon's out, or he'll be coming back, but he's been in and out. You don't know how good he's going to be when he comes back. So I mean, you can't make this up with the Cleveland Browns.
I went with hashtag New Look Lions because we may be very well looking at a team that could end up going 0-16 because they are the only team that I've seen since that Lions season that has looked that bad. And I know the NFL is any given Sunday, but it's also any given Sunday any team can lose. And they very well might lose every game.
They were up
Very
20 on the Ravens.
Yeah,
though.
20-2. And
I thought they were going to win that.
But they lost. They lost.
It takes something to build a 20-0 lead.
it does.
Yeah, honestly, they should have won that game. But they
Oh, they definitely should have won that game.
So mine, it was 3 days late, but Clipboard Jesus has risen. Oh, man. They signed my boy, Charlie Whitehurst. They are so desperate that they signed Charlie Whitehurst. Their quarterback situation is just insane. Who are they starting? Kessler?
Kessler.
Another good one would be hashtag Kessler run. There you go. But,
It might go to Johnny Manziel after this.
if they ever
Bring
sign
him back.
Johnny Manziel again,
Might bring Vic back.
they just need to give up this season. They just need to forfeit it the rest of the season. They
Move
sign
him to a
Johnny
new
Manziel.
city.
My hashtag is what we're all thinking, ellipses. There's nothing left to say about the Browns situation right now. They don't know where to run. They don't know where to go. You're signing Charlie Whitehurst, and you don't know if he's a given commodity and if that's going to work out for you. I honestly don't know what to say for the Browns organization. That's why ellipses.
Those are all really good hashtags, guys. I'm going to go with Josh on the Clipboard Jesus. It's tough to beat Clipboard Jesus. But let's move on now. We're going to switch gears from football for just a slight little bit of time here. We go to the NBA. Giannis, I'm going to attempt this last name. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah, okay. So the Greek guy on the Milwaukee Bucks has just gotten a contract extension. Hashtag your thoughts, guys. We'll start with Josh since he's currently got the lead.
Not okay with that, all right. Yeah, nice order going.
I finished first, so I'll go first. Hashtag Zeus. This man is the Greek god of the NBA. He is incredibly athletic for his height and size, and I think this is an incredibly smart move by the Bucks because they're tying down a young, athletic, very talented player to, let's be honest, a small market team, and it's good for them to be able to hang on to an asset like that.
Definitely, yeah.
Because this upcoming free agency is going to be nuts. Westbrook could be gone and stuff like that. So in order to have a guy you know is going to be there, because he could have easily jumped in the ship when all of these teams are going to have cap space. It's very good move by the Bucks.
And it was 4 years, $100 million. He could have waited for the 5-year max. So
Yeah,
the Bucks actually got a little bit of a bargain here. So I'll let you go.
All right, I got hashtag Greek economy. This guy could probably support the entire Greek economy with his new contract. So,
that's good.
but for real, he's a good player. I'm glad they locked him up because I really like Milwaukee Bucks. I feel like they should actually start playing good. So you know.
Got Jason Kidd.
My hashtag is kind of similar. It's big money grip. This guy, he is the guy with the money now because they signed him to this great contract extension. He deserves it. He's been playing well for the longest time with the Milwaukee Bucks, and it's about time that like he gets his due because I think he can really take this team to a whole nother level with a few pieces. I honestly think the Milwaukee Bucks have a chance to make the playoffs.
All right, I got kind of similar hashtag Get Your Money Giannis. I remember watching the draft whenever he was drafted. They were saying he's a project. He'll take 2 to 3 years. He'll be a draft and stash. And then he came in first year, and he produced a little bit, and then he showed some flashes. And now he's averaging. I have the stats on 19 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists after the All-Star break. Those are extremely good numbers, and $100 million is underpaid for him, especially when Matthew Dellavedova is getting $38 million from the Bucks. So, get your money, Giannis.
Liking the hashtags, I'm going to go with the Zeus on this one, the Greek god. So I guess that gives us a tie between Josh and Tom. So do a quick lightning round tiebreaker.
What? Not prepared.
Yeah. Well, let's put you on the spot then.
All right.
Chicago Cubs are back in the playoffs again this year. Been 108 years since they've won a World Series. You think this is the year? Could it be another letdown for the city of Chicago, the North Side? Thoughts?
I'm going to go with goodbye streak. I think they're going to get it done. I don't really see anyone coming out of the National League that I think can challenge them. I mean, there's a few teams. The Dodgers are always going to show up. They got Kershaw. You can't count them out. But I think the Cubs have got it from top of the organization to the bottom. I think they've got everything they need to be a championship team. They faltered in the playoffs last year, but I think they'll use that to learn and right the ship this time around.
All right, well, everyone knows about the great GOAT curse that the Cubs are on, why they haven't won a World Series in over 100 years. So my hashtag is hashtag GOAT, but not for that reason. I feel like this is one of the greatest Cubs teams that not only have I seen, because I haven't seen very good Cubs teams in my lifetime, but probably ever, honestly. They have all the tools. They have the pitching. They have Chris Bryant. They have Anthony Rizzo. They have a good outfield with Jason Hayward and other guys I can't remember right now. But, they're a very good team. I can see them going all the way. There's not really anybody in the National League that I can see actually beating them in a 5 or 7 game series. American League, that's a little different story. You have the Indians, you have the Red Sox on fire right now. And then you got the Blue Jays who could come in from the wild card and surprise some people. So, I think they can easily make it to the World Series, but I don't know if they could actually win it. But I'm going with them actually breaking the streak.
Well, I'm gonna disagree and say it's 109 time. This team, they're not gonna win the World Series. We see the same thing from the Cubs every year in the past years. Yes, they've done a great job, and I look forward to see them winning the World Series very soon. But it's not gonna happen this year. Even though they beat up on my Pirates the whole season, it's 109 time.
I'm going to say hashtag streak will hibernate, because Cubs. Like you guys were saying, they've been playing very well. They got Chris Bryant and Rizzo and all those guys. So I think just like the Cleveland streak ending this year, I think the streak will hibernate in Chicago.
Good hashtags, guys. I think I'll give the win to Josh on this one. I like the GOAT. Hoist that trophy up high, my man.
You can't go with the hibernate one? That was good.
But,
that took a lot of thought.
That was good. That was good. Now we're going
was just
to
too
switch
strict.
back to football here. We're going to go down to college football. The biggest game of the past college football week, we had Louisville demolishing Florida State. It was just ugly. So what are you guys' thoughts on this game, the possible implications that could arise from this? Because everybody always expected it to come down to Clemson and Florida State in the ACC, but now Florida State is essentially out of it unless there's a 3-way tie. So what are you guys thinking now?
I love it. Louisville, nobody expected them to be good. It was just, Clemson, Florida State. Oh, they're in a cupcake conference. Now you can't really say that because we got 3 top 10, or Florida's 12, but basically 3 top 10 teams in the same division. The other part of the ACC is still cupcakes, but the Atlantic is still they're top quality. So I love it. I love a good underdog story. They're not really underdogs anymore, but they were, and nobody expected them to beat Florida State by 40. So That's just college football for you. Anything can happen, and it's going to be very interesting. I think you guys have heard about it. If each of the 3 teams win on their home field and they win all the other games, it's a tiebreaker. And the ACC said they're going to do some kind of equation that the general public doesn't know, and they're just going to release. Oh, Florida State gets in, Clemson gets in.
Doesn't sound good.
It's not going to go well. So
no matter what,
I advise they change it somehow, but I don't know what else you would do. I mean, the 3 teams can't play against each other. Only 2 teams can play against each other. So
It's true.
I'm not sure what they're going to do if that happens.
I gotta say that the ACC is better than the SEC this year. The ACC is finally like the top tier of college football now. Like even on the coastal side, Georgia Tech is not that bad. You got Pitt, a good Pitt team that's 2-1 that you can contend with. But Louisville coming out the gate, I never would have expected Louisville to even like be as good as they are. Like Lamar Jackson, he's great. I even watched the bowl game last year. Like his momentum has carried on from then. And Louisville versus Clemson, it's gonna be a huge matchup. Deshaun Watson versus Lamar Jackson. I can't wait.
It's going to be the Notre Dame game of last year, of this year, basically.
I am terrified. So I wasn't able to watch the Louisville Florida State game. I just didn't think it was close enough to really give it a watch, honestly. after because I was at the Clemson game, but. I saw this coming. I saw LSU coming to the top, coming near the top of the Atlantic, giving Florida State and Clemson a run for their money. I saw that coming last year. They started 0-3 last year, but there were 3 like very close losses to very good teams. They lost to Clemson last year. They almost beat Clemson last year on a Thursday night, and so this is the beating the crap out of Florida State. Now that was surprising, but them being good is not very surprising to me, honestly. Not Joe Paterno. Bobby Petrino is a pretty good coach. He's not a nice guy, but he's a pretty good coach. So, I mean, I'm terrified of playing Louisville. I feel like Lamar Jackson's going to throw all over us.
We'll see.
Lamar Jackson's just very good. And about the 3-way tie thing, that's very interesting, honestly, because, like, so many people are going to be so angry.
Yeah, it's going to come down to analytics. I mean, everybody on the football teams are going to do as much as they can, but 2 teams aren't going to get in. So there's going to be some anger over that.
And to your SEC argument, I don't think we're better than the SEC this year, but we're getting there. We're starting to look like
it's a work in progress.
The ACC Atlantic is now looking like the SEC
West.
The West, with Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, right? LSU, and all that. We're starting to look like them with 3 very good teams at the very top. And we're getting there. We just need Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, Duke. Where are you this year? Where are you, Duke?
UNC, I don't know where they are.
Virginia basketball.
Virginia's garbage. North Carolina, come on, man. You were supposed to be better.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're not ranked anymore. So
Come on.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's going to take a couple more years for, let's say, the lower teams in the ACC to if they improve and get better. I think the ACC will be the top conference. I also agree with the fact that I am terrified with this game. I am absolutely. I saw the score. I saw the scoreline. I didn't get a chance to watch the game either. I saw the scoreline and I just sat there shaking my head for a whole 5 minutes. And I was just like, I thought Florida State was good. Like, I mean, they're good, but Louisville just destroyed them.
They're not bad. It's just Louisville just destroyed them.
How good is Louisville?
Now,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just hope we don't get caught with our pants around our ankles like Florida State did.
I don't think so.
I don't think we will, I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's definitely a game day worthy game.
I think the big difference is Lamar Jackson finally playing a real away game. This is his first real road game of the year. And I said this again when they played Florida State. I was like, yeah, they're playing their first real opponent this year.
Right.
And they proved me wrong. I mean, I chose them to win, but they still proved me wrong. They blew them out of the water. But it's very different playing in Louisville at noon than playing in Death Valley, South Carolina.
Yeah, and it's sold out. It's absolutely
It's already sold out.
Yeah,
We
already
know.
sold out.
It's sold out.
It's already sold out.
I mean, I couldn't even get tickets.
I'm super excited about that game though, but we still gotta get past Georgia Tech first. So.
Yeah. Let's not put the
Can't
cart-
overlook. The worst thing you do, especially in college football, is overlook a team. So
Let's not put the cart before the horse yet, but it's going to be an amazing game. And speaking of amazing games, we got a few good games this weekend. So let's bring out the whiteboards and Matthew, bring out some more paper. Do some quick pick'ems here for some of the bigger games, the most notable games this weekend. So we'll start off with number 11 Wisconsin at number 8 Michigan State. These teams doing pretty well thus far. So who you guys got?
right, I'll start it off. I put Sparty. Because, don't worry about my awful handwriting. But I put Sparty because, as you brought up last week on the show, Michigan State always plays good defense, and they're
Tom Izzo.
Yep. Mark D'Antonio always has them well coached and ready to go, and even the best of teams will struggle against them. No matter what, like even in their bad years, they will always have a top defense.
All right, well, I chose Sparty too, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but I wrote D'Antonio at the bottom just to remind myself that we're talking about football right now. so yeah, I got Sparty again. Wisconsin doesn't really impress me. They got that high because they beat UCLA, right? They beat UCLA or Cal?
They beat LSU.
LSU.
Oh, they beat LSU, not UCLA. I'm thinking of Texas A&M.
Yeah,
But they beat LSU, but LSU didn't really look that impressive against them. Like that was just a case of LSU being really bad in that game. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not impressed by Wisconsin at all. Meanwhile, Michigan State, I am super impressed by. So got Sparty.
I also like Michigan State as well because this week I heard Wisconsin is starting a new quarterback because Bart Scott is actually not going to be their guy. Wisconsin played some cupcake team last week, and he came in and actually did pretty well. So, but you don't start a new quarterback against a Mark D'Antonio defense.
I didn't know that. But
Michigan State will win.
I'm going to disagree with all of you. I'm going to say Wisconsin. And it's funny that you brought up defense because I actually looked up a few stats for this game. Wisconsin is second in the nation in total defense, only allowing 269 yards. Michigan State is 26th. So I'm going to go off, even though it's at Michigan State, I can see why you guys picked them. They destroyed Notre Dame, but Notre Dame was overrated. They're not even ranked anymore.
Yeah, Notre Dame.
So that's not as impressive as I thought it would be, say 2 weeks ago. So I'm going on with Wisconsin to upset, or not upset, they're ranked higher, but to win in Michigan State.
All right, so actually it would be an upset. It's 11 Wisconsin, so it would be an upset because Michigan State's 8.
You're right. It would be an upset.
Come on, it is the upset pick. Come on, man. Move on to number 12, Georgia, and number 23, Ole Miss. Ole Miss losing 2 very close games against teams they technically could have beat. They kind of blew the lead against Florida State and against Alabama, but still played well, still ranked. So how do you think they'll fare at home against Georgia?
All right, well, last week I said they would beat Bama. I was close. So close.
Close, but no.
I got the Rebels again with a nice little $sign at the end.
Swag Kelly.
Swag Kelly. I just don't see Georgia beating them. Georgia looked pitiful against Nicole State.
I think it was just Nichols.
Nichols?
Yeah, now just Nichols.
One of the two. They played very poorly against them, and it's at Ole Miss, so it's definitely Ole Miss. Swag Kelly's definitely going to put up numbers against Georgia because I'm not really very confident about their defense. But yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go next. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna say Ole Miss. Like you said, they lost to Alabama and Florida State. They had a 20-point lead against Florida State. They had a pretty good. I think I had a 20-point lead or something against Alabama. Yeah, I mean they've been in games. They just lost. They've just been terrible in the second half. So I don't see them losing to Georgia. I think they're all angry. I think they're like we could be 3-0. Could have beaten both these teams. We had 20-point leads on them. So I think they're gonna
top 5 right now.
They could be top 5. And now they're like 20 or 24, something like that.
23.
Yeah, 23. Yeah. So I think they're gonna beat Georgia.
I also have Ole Miss. I don't see Georgia being enough. I think it's going to be an SEC shootout, which is something we also don't see that much. And Chad Kelly's going to have a great game. Nick Chubb will also have a good game, but I like Ole Miss at home.
To round out the sweep, I have Ole Miss as well.
Really? Wow.
Because they played 2 top 5 teams and not even held their own. They outplayed them in most parts of the game.
Well, the Florida State game was the first half.
They're both first halves.
They
First half
got out
games.
the weeds on both of them. And I think that the defense of Georgia won't be able to contain it as well as the defenses of the other 2 teams. And I think that Nick Chubb will still have a great game. He always does. How can he not, really? But I think Ole Miss will win at the end. They have home field advantage, and when you play that well against 2 of the top teams in the country, you can bring it to anybody.
Yeah.
All right, staying with the SEC matchup here, we've got number 19 Florida, number 14 Tennessee. 2 teams that are both 3-0 right now, but the way they've played doesn't necessarily translate to a 3-0, but they've squeaked into it. So what are you guys thinking here?
guess I'll go first again. This is really a toss-up because both teams looked awful. First 3 games, they all look bad. They just both look bad. I don't think either of them should be ranked right now, but they're undefeated, so whatever. Going with Rocky Top Tennessee. Josh Dobbs, I guess he'll play good. Florida lost their starting quarterback, I thought.
Yeah. Luke Del Rio's out.
Yeah, they lost their starting quarterback. So, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. Their offense was already pretty brain dead with him. So, without him, I'm assuming it's going to be worse. And it's at Nyland, so...
I will go second, and I also have Tennessee. It is the Dobbs show this week. He's finally going to play like he's supposed to play. We're going to finally see the Heisman candidate that we're supposed to be seeing from Josh Dobbs. They haven't had big games playing Appalachian State. Those aren't big teams. He's going to finally have an SEC home game to show out in front of the crowd. Josh Dobbs will get it done.
Here, I'll go. Okay. I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna say the Gators, even though it's at Rocky Top. Tennessee never doesn't impress me. They almost lost to Ohio, and somehow they went up in the rankings.
Neither team impressed me.
Yeah, that's true. They went up in the rankings.
lose-lose.
They almost lost to App State. So you're saying, oh, now they have some real competition. Well, they almost lost to non-real competition. So how do you think they're going to do against an actual team? I think they're going to lose.
Yeah, I went with Florida as well because for the very same reasons. I can't look past the App State game. I really can't. Like the way you talk about Georgia and Nichols. Like it's the same thing. Like if you can't bring it to that kind of competition, what are you going to do against another SEC team?
Yeah.
And I mean, Florida, they may not be anywhere near like they were in the Tebow days, but I mean, they're always a decently good program.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they made the SEC championship.
Yeah. I mean, and when you have that against a team that squeaked by App State, I'm going to go with the program.
We will
I'm gonna
figure
go with the
out
history.
if Tennessee is overrated or not this week.
We already know. They're
Overrated.
Look at the App State game, you realize they're
Florida's
overrated.
overrated at 19. I'm just saying.
half the SEC is overrated.
All right, sticking with the SEC, it looks like this is the SEC week or something, but 17 Arkansas at number 10 Texas
Everyone.
A&M. What do you guys think on this one? Thomas, start us off.
I will go first, and I will pick Arkansas because Texas A&M, for the second week in a row, I will still say they're overrated. I don't know. I don't like Texas A&M. I don't think that they're as good as everyone thinks they are. But Arkansas and Brett Bielema is a great coach, and I love their quarterback the way that he's been playing so far. They're a very tough, physical team. Run the ball. I think they play old school football, and Arkansas is going to get it done.
Old school.
All right, I'm gonna say A&M. I do think they're overrated. You think of Texas A&M like I think of Tennessee. I don't think they're that good. People think they are. I don't think they are. But I think A&M is going to continue their hot streak. I mean, they're undefeated. They beat UCLA, which most people didn't expect to happen. They weren't ranked when the season started. Now they're what, 10 or
10?
They're 10. That is overrated. So
Yeah.
I still think they're going to beat. What's the
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Yeah,
Yes,
Arkansas. I think they're going to beat Arkansas.
I'm going with A&M as well. I mean, they have. It's going to be a game of two mid-level SEC teams, and I think Texas A&M is just that much better. I mean, they beat UCLA. And they're still undefeated. So you're undefeated even this far into college football season. It takes talent. It takes good coaching, and they have the home field advantage, which in the SEC I can't look over that often.
Well, I got 12th man with a little copyright symbol.
Can't get sued.
Can't get sued. It's going to be a close one, honestly. Arkansas always plays these big games very close.
Yes.
Probably go to overtime, but I just see Texas A&M pulling it out. They're at home. I don't know what time the game's at. Time is very important. But, yeah, it's going to go into overtime. Got Texas A&M winning. So that's all I got.
All right, guys, let's switch gears to the Pac-12 now. Round this off with number 7 Stanford at UCLA. This is a good Stanford team running on Christian McCaffrey, but they're at UCLA. Potential upset. You guys buying the upset, or are you going to go with the favored Cardinal?
I'm going to go with Stanford. I mean, I can't really look past them. I can't look past Stanford at all. I mean, UCLA, they lost to Texas A&M, but I mean, that's the only good team I think they played so far this year. Texas, I mean, I don't know. Stanford's just too good. They got McCaffrey. He's just gonna run all over the Bruins, I think. So I think it's not even gonna be that close of a game. Stanford.
Got a tree for Stanford.
He's gonna
Ah, dang it!
Dang.
Just put it up. Just put it up.
Dang. I thought I was
Which one's
creative.
better? Dang! I messed up at the top.
This is
paper
intense.
tree.
I was gonna make it a Christmas tree.
Well, I disagree. I have to go with UCLA this week. Stanford is becoming the team that everyone's starting to talk about. Oh, they've punched their tickets to the Rose Bowl. They're definitely going to make it. They're going to blow through the Pac-12. But I don't think they're looking at UCLA as a team that they should take seriously. And I think they're going to sleep on them. I think UCLA at home gets it done with the upset.
Well, thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. That's all the time we have, but it's been a great show. We had some excellent commentary, hashtags, picks from everybody on the panel, and myself included. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We had a great show. We'll see you here next week, 8:30 Wednesdays, Extra Point. We're out.